Hi everyone, and welcome to your daily tarot reading. Now, before I do anything, I want to give a big shout out to the bird in my table. You can see it here. I did a video without the little birdie yesterday and it did not go down well. So, big star here on YouTube is the little bird. I'm glad it's back in my life. But now I'm going to do your daily tarot reading for Sunday, the 26th of August. And this is the daily tarot readings are really about letting the cards speak to us and letting the kind of universal wisdom trickle through in a way via symbols, and I try and interpret those symbols and give you an insight into what the day's energy is likely to be about. So let's have a look at what the cards want to say, and I'm using the Game of Thrones tarot for today's reading. So got the Hermit, the Tower, and the Two of Swords. It looks intimidating, but it's actually kind of good. Now, in terms of the astrology, I have to say we've got a full moon in Pisces here on Sunday the 26th. And have a look at the video I made on the full moon in Pisces. It's really a big one. Pisces is, in my opinion, the watery of all the water signs. So it packs quite a punch. So I've made a separate video on that. Check that out. We've got the Hermit today. We have the Tower, and then we have the Two of Swords. So two major arcana cards and a minor arcana card. The Hermit is about looking within, and he's usually got a lantern, and he shines that lantern of truth onto his inner being to gain understanding, to gain a sense of self-mastery, self-actualization, and really being aware of the person you are. You know, if you come across as really friendly or abrasive and you don't know it, you can't really do much about it. So you've got to be able to hear other people's feedback and see what the reality is. So knowing yourself is a big bonus, because if you know who you are and what you're about, then you're going to, on some level, understand what the reaction is with other people, and you know what you're about and you have a purpose. But more deeper and more importantly than that really is just knowing who you are and knowing what you want to do in life. And really, this is where the Game of Thrones tarot is great, because we've got what's his name, Brandon here, and he's a kid, he's a young kid, and he wanted to be a big, you know, like a soldier and a big archer and a big swordsman and all of that stuff. And then he was a good climber, and he fell off this tower and he couldn't use his legs anymore. And then this other identity, so he didn't accept that identity. He didn't want to be that person. He didn't accept, you know, the cards the universe had dealt him, so to speak. But something else came into his life. So this three-eyed raven thing, which he then embodies and becomes, like he's a great seer in the show, like a visionary. And he is a great example of, you know, looking within and seeing things that you don't like. And it's also a great example of when you see those things and you don't like them and you're like, oh, okay, I see that about myself. You kind of imagine them as little bubbles, and they go poof, 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 and they no longer have any power over your life when you look at them. Everything that's in the shadows, once you shine the light on it, it just disappears, it goes away. And that's why this is like the Lightbringer card, because it reveals the dark stuff in you, which we've all got, ego, hello. But then we've also got this beautiful, amazing, shining light in us, this flame of infinite potential that often works through us. That, you know, if you have a big ego, if you're someone who's a big deal in the real world, it's really hard to... I think that's why, you know, in olden times, these hermits and things, these wise men and the holy men, they would give up all of their belongings and go live in these caves and stuff, because the more you've got going on in the real world, the harder it is to hear that humbling voice of truth that despite you, the universe wants the best for you and wants you to succeed and wants you to have a wonderful life. Despite, how wonderful you think you may be on the totally wrong path altogether. But the universe doesn't give up on you. It kind of prompts you at certain times to look within. And sometimes if you're not listening, or if you're just like, it's like knocking on your head and you're just not listening to it, it takes over and it does it for you in certain instances. So a big thing, if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going, or you're totally lost in life, a nice little trick to get you going again is to say, universe, if you exist or don't exist, or God or whatever, or the creator or my higher self, my higher power, I don't know if you exist or not, but I'm willing to have a dialogue with you. I'm willing to be open to what you've got to say. That's all it takes. The next card is the Tower, and this is actually also, this is his wolf. So Brandon was climbing up there, and he got to the window, and that's where he was pushed out of the window, and he fell, and he lost the use of his legs. And that's really the defining moment of his life in terms of one identity ending and another starting. And that's what we've got today. We've got one of your identities ending and another one starting. So whether that's positive or negative, you don't know yet. You don't have the certainty of that. Look, Arya's blind. She's just trying to defend herself. She doesn't know what on earth is going on. Because we don't know when we're at a new threshold, a new beginning, and a full moon is really a completion point. The moon goes, let's let all of this energy go. It's been building up all month, and it just goes, ta-da, here you go. And this time it's going, ta-da, Pisces. I'm going to give you Pisces energy, which is about water and spirituality and the Hermit, looking within, being intuitive, being psychic. It's about also being creative and expressing yourself artistically and expressing the visions that you have and sharing your light that you've discovered within yourself with other people. So it has healing properties and transformative properties, and it's spirituality pure. This is like Pisces energy is often like as close as we can get, and it's makes the gap between, I'm this big shot on planet Earth, for instance, and the reality of here's one dimension and the veil between the other dimension is very thin. And when Pisces full moons occur, the veil is like translucent, see-through, and you can see beyond. So that's what the Hermit does. It gives you great insight. It's really useful because the Tower usually represents something coming undone. So usually the Tower is struck by lightning and people go flying. In this case, it's much more intelligent. It's the ending of a person's view of themselves. It's a totally, and the sky looks interesting because it's almost like meteorites hitting the land and burning everything. It's an ending and a new beginning. The Two of Swords is a minor arcana card, and it's someone who's usually blindfolded and they don't know what's happening. Arya in this case is blind, so she can't see what's going on. They're defending themselves against what? I mean, she's got a wooden sword and she's got needle there, but a wooden sword isn't that useful. She's grasping at straws. She's terrified. She's just like waiting for the next punch in the face. I mean, she's doesn't know what's going on. She's got all this water here behind her, so she's got the intuitive senses that she now needs to use. She's lost one of her senses, her sight. So now her hearing is heightened, her sense of touch. People often report that people have lost I think that's old news. Like, people who've lost one of their senses often report heightening the others. But we've got this water here, and that's the sixth sense, so to speak, isn't it? Water is the intuition, the connection to something bigger. Right? Seeing that. What you need to realize is that within you, you've got something that is like a wireless broadband connection to the creator. And all you need to do is plug it in and ping pong, and then move forward in terms of, okay, this is what the universe wants for me. And you have a choice within that. You can say, if it's that clear, like on these days, I wish it was always this clear. This is who you are. This is your life at the moment. It doesn't represent who you are now, or it does. You have to square that with yourself. But this card is fear of the unknown. And it's like, well, if I am this thing, and it does make sense, then what's going to happen to me? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be this. I have to learn everything over. I have to learn how to walk and dress myself and be a person again now that I've lost my vision. You know, it's not just overnight that you accept something like that. So the great thing about the Two of Swords is that there is all this water there, and we've got the Titan there, so she's protected, and the water is the universe, and the universe is guiding her. And even though she doesn't understand why she's been afflicted like this, there's a reason for it, because it's going to turn her into a different person. A person with a certain skill set, in this case. At the end of this whole story, the people who train her to be this assassin, they go after her because she doesn't follow the rules. And because she's gone through this period of fighting in the dark, she in the end has the upper hand. Spoiler alert, because she knows how to fight in the dark. So these dark periods of our lives where we are uncertain are really blessings, because we are forced to look within and really reach down and say, who are we really? And what defines me? What is home? What is my identity? Who am I? What am I trying to do with my life? And let's get honest with ourselves and see if I've been hiding something in the closet for a while, or I really have an ambition that I haven't even started yet. I haven't even got a brick in place yet, or I'm this really rigid person who's built up over 80 years a personality. Does that still apply? All of the things that you put in place at 20, do they really still make up your character today? People don't change, but they change. People change, but they don't change in a way. But people are always evolving and growing and stuff. So what does your tower look like today? And that's beautiful. So a full moon in itself is also really bright and shiny. You can see it. I mean, it's like daylight almost. So it's a day of really understanding who you are, what's important to you, what you want to build in your life, or if you want to tear down the existing structures. But don't be afraid, because you can't be in fear when you're in faith. And faith is simply looking within yourself and realizing that you're something more than a collection of bones and skin and muscle. You're not. That's just your vehicle on planet Earth. So, number-wise, we've got 9, 16 is 25, and 2 is 27, 2 and 7 is 9, and 9 is spirituality, water and personal insight, and completion, the tower, and completing one life cycle and starting another. And this is such an amazing energy today that the cards have captured it beautifully. Thank you, cards, and thank you, and also it's really interesting that this energy is coming through during the period that we're in, because we're now in Virgo time, and Virgo is about looking at who you are and being practical about it. So it's not just like, oh, I'm this person that I don't like, or I am this wonderful person, woohoo me. It's about, okay, we see something that we want or that we want to undo. And Virgo is able to, in a calm way, look at things that you don't like about yourself. No one likes doing that, but we all have to do it if we want to self-actualize and really live our dreams. So it allows you to look at that without shying away from it. Scorpio is very similar to that. So able to look at things that are horrible about ourselves, and to really see them. And then Virgo has the practical answer to say, okay, well, you want to be a big shot in the media thing. So why don't we get you an interview at the local radio or TV or whatever? Let's get you a media degree. It's very practical. It takes ideas and it says, well, on planet Earth, this is what we do when we have these ideas. It's very like, okay, this is what these are the options that are available to you, and you can take them. So as soon as you think it, you'll see the practical, earthy, grounded way of putting it into practice today. And you've got a lot of ideas today. It's a great, wonderful, wow, it's a beautiful Sunday. Have an amazing day. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the Readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.